The Maury Povich Show, or as it's more commonly known, Maury, first debuted on September 9th, 1991, and quickly became a staple of daytime television. His lie detector reveals have become a staple of meme culture, and after nearly 2,700 episodes, it's safe to say that he has impacted just about every segment of our culture. Out of thousands of guests that have made audiences cheer and boo, we've selected 10 of the most unforgettable Maury guests of all time. Before we get into today's video, make sure you show some love for Top 5 Best by taking a moment to smash that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and last but certainly not least, share this video with your friends. Now, let's get started. Number 10. Wild Teen is back 20 years later, with baby drama.
Wild teen named Carmen, who appeared on our show almost 20 years ago.
It was a little over 20 years ago when Carmen's mother brought her to Maury as a last resort. The 14-year-old girl was partying and swore she wanted to get pregnant as soon as possible. Unfortunately, in the aftermath of the program, Carmen did very little to change her lifestyle, until many years after the fact. 20 years later, she was a mother of 5 with her partner Philip, of over 13 years. However, due to promiscuity in their relationship, Philip swears that the youngest 2 children aren't his. This led to Carmen returning to Maury on July 2nd, 2018 for a DNA test. Before hearing the results, Philip claims that he loves Carmen deeply, but that he can't feel connected to 2 of the children because he doesn't believe they're his. Moments later, Maury receives the results, and both children are proven to be his. The 2 of them embrace, and Philip apologizes for what he calls a stupid mistake. Number 9. They say I have 20 kids. Stop accusing me.
Darren is rumored to have 20 children.
Darren has been tracked down by over 20 people who claim to be his children. All of them were rebuffed, but Brittany, Deshawn, and Takira, the 3 adult children, brought him to Maury to prove once and for all that they are his kids. Darren is filled with rage as he is welcomed to the stage, accusing the 3 of them of being disrespectful and only being interested in him for money. For over 5 minutes, the stage was flooded with anger and emotionally fueled screaming and yelling. When the results finally appeared, Maury wasted no time in reading them. Brittany is his. She is ecstatic, and she runs around in celebration before they hug. But what happens next elevates this clip to the next level. Next, Maury reads the results for Deshawn. They confirm that Deshawn is his, but after months of standoffs and accusations, he isn't as ready to celebrate. The 2 of them stayed about 10 feet apart in a primitive standoff. After a little more shouting, they meet in the middle to share a powerful embrace, one that was nearly 22 years in the making. By the time they cut to commercial, the group of them are reunited and ready to begin a new chapter of their lives. That's 3 down, only 17 to go. Number 8. I'll prove your dad is wrong. These 2 kids are yours.
They look like me.
And so you think both of them are Pete's?
Yes, no doubt in my mind.
Any situation can be more complex when it involves family, and obviously determining paternity is no exception. When Alexis became pregnant with her first baby, she didn't think there was any way it could be Pete's, but by 2018, she was having doubts. While she was beginning to think the oldest child may be his after all, she was certain that the youngest was, because according to her, the child had inherited several genetic traits. In a rare occurrence, Pete is more than happy to help raise both of them either way. A major issue in their relationship, though, is the presence of Pete's father, Keith, who feels that Alexis is manipulative and toxic. The 2 of them have it out on the stage before Maury opens up the DNA results, revealing that neither child was in fact Pete's. Undeterred and against the wishes of his father, he insists that he will still be there to help raise both children. Number 7. We pick up groceries at Walmart, not women.
You blame somebody else for a lot of his behavior. Who is it?
Him!
A year after her first appearance on the show to confirm that her ex-husband Cody was the father of her young son Jamie, is now in a relationship with a man named Maxwell. She claimed that Maxwell received an email from a dating site and that she has found jewelry in his car, 2 undeniable signs that he has been unfaithful. According to her and the audience's reaction, Maxwell is definitely guilty of cheating, and who is helping cover it up? According to Jamie, it's his brother Zakiya. To get to the bottom of all of it, Maxwell and Zakiya were both subject to a lie detector tests, and much to Jamie's dismay, both of them were absolutely innocent of any wrongdoing. And all of Maxwell's various alibis had held up. As the show goes to commercial break, we see the two of them embrace, ready to start over. Number 6. Help! My wild teen daughter bullies our family.
I kicked my mom in the stomach because she doesn't know how to leave me alone.
On November 9th, 2017, Martha appeared on The Maury Show with her 16-year-old daughter Mahida, who Martha said was terrorizing their household. But just how bad was it? The police had been called to their home over 118 times for Mahida's behavior, and after she was charged with assault and battery not once but twice, she vowed to seek revenge by getting pregnant. Something she did by having sex as often as 10 times a week. When Mahida takes the stage, she defends her actions by saying she was justified in acts of violence like punching her mother in the stomach and throwing a vinegar bottle at her head. Of course, the audience isn't having it, as she repeatedly clashes with them, cursing and threatening them. While Maury had psychotherapist Susan Lambert on standby to try and set her straight, she wasn't quick to change her ways during the show. The story does have a happy ending, as Mahida returned to the show a year later in a heartwarming Where Are They Now episode, to show viewers that she had, in fact, changed for the better. Number 5. Transracial black woman.
Martina, do you think you're a black person?
In a particularly controversial episode, Martina Big talks to Maury about her history of extreme plastic surgeries. As a young girl, Martina was obsessed with altering her appearance to look like actor Pamela Anderson, and after a decade and many plastic surgeries, she achieved a look that she was finally satisfied with. But her satisfaction would be fleeting, as she once again set her sights on an even more extreme form of body modification. This time, Martina receives a series of experimental injections in her abdomen to turn her skin black. Despite being born in Germany, she claims to strongly identify as an African American. Unfortunately for Martina, that statement didn't go over well with Maury or the audience, who are quick to emphasize that identifying as African American is just as much cultural as genetic, and even Martina finally conceded that she had much to learn about African culture. Despite the negative reaction from the crowd and even Maury himself, in the time since her appearance, she traveled to Kenya, where a local clergyman baptized her and declared her to be a, quote, true African woman, and even gave her a baptismal name, Malika Kubwa, which roughly translates to Big Angel. Somehow, I have a hard time believing that even her baptism would be sufficient to win over the crowd on The Maury Show. Number 4. Snoop Dogg.
Tanisha wants me to be her baby father because I look like Snoop Dogg.
On May 30th, 2016, Tanisha brought her ex Joe on The Maury Show to prove to him that he was the father of her 2-year-old son, Avion. Joe, on the other hand, was certain that the only reason she was saying so is that she thinks he looks like rapper Snoop Dogg. While pretty much nobody else thinks he looks like Snoop Dogg, even his own family believes he should take responsibility for Avion, and his sister, Andrea, appeared alongside Tanisha for moral support. When the results finally appeared, it turned out that Joe wasn't actually the father, and both him and Andrea confronted Tanisha, accusing her of lying the entire time. In the end, family won over, with Joe and Andrea mending the rift between them. Number 3. I'm back to DNA test my 7th man.
She's hopeful that the 7th man, whose name is Melson, will be proven to be Michael's dad. Watch this.
Most of the time when The Maury Show sees repeat guests, it generally isn't 7 times, and it typically isn't for the exact same thing. But a woman named Cynthia made her 7th appearance on the show on April 26, 2018. In each case, she had been trying to determine the father of her 4-year-old son, Michael. In this most recent appearance, she had brought a man named Melson to be tested. Melson calmly insisted that his child wasn't his, but Cynthia insisted that he must be. The two of them bickered on stage for a few minutes before the long-awaited results were delivered to Maury. When he reads the results, Melson isn't the father, and Cynthia is devastated. Perhaps fans will be seeing her on the show again with an 8th suitor. Number 2. Richard Ramirez. Between April 10, 1984 and August 24, 1985, Richard Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker, is one of history's most notorious serial killers. In August of 1991, Maury hadn't yet adopted his multi-guest format, and he interviewed Ramirez via satellite from prison. During their conversation, Ramirez laments on the idea that every person is capable of committing similar monstrosities, an idea that Maury flatly rejects. Maury would later feature Ginny Peterson, who was one of the few people to survive an attack by Ramirez. Richard Ramirez claimed 14 victims during his reign of terror and died in prison on June 7, 2013, from complications associated with B-cell lymphoma.
I saved the best for last, but first, I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. If you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it, it really works.
Number 1. Lost Children.
Mom, you are so stupid!
Possibly Maury's most shocking and difficult to watch episode involved children who nearly lost their way. Ranging from 7 to 10 years of age, these children are involved in drug and alcohol abuse. They smoke cigarettes and degrade their parents. The youngest guest on the show was 7-year-old Justin, who admits to smoking cigarettes and marijuana and says that his favorite drink is whiskey. Another guest, 8-year-old Jasmine, said that she's dating 3 boys and looks forward to becoming sexually active. These children better hope that their appearance on the show helped them get back on track, because they are all headed down a very, very scary path. Those were the 10 most shocking moments from The Maury Show. If you can think of a more shocking moment from the show, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. Until next time, thanks for watching.